the next step then, once you have all the buildings filled in, is to add windows and doors to your building. And the thing to remember when you're doing this is that we are, as we are looking down on this, we are supposed to be closest to the tops of the building, which means the ground floor of the building is farthest away from us. And as things get farther away, they get smaller. So, what you need to do as you're putting in windows and stuff is you need to make guides. And I have I have this one. It's kind of the easy way to make windows, just to do a grid. But what I did was first I drew these lines that echoed the shape of the building. And as you notice, as they get closer to the ground, or as they get farther away, those rows are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's because as things get farther away, they get smaller. So, I'll show you how to do these kind of windows first, and then I'll show you how to do more traditional windows that actually have like walls in between them. So, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a side, and you're going to start very narrowly. And then the next section, you're going to make just a little bit wider. And a little bit wider. And all the time remembering that these all need to be parallel, so you don't want any angled lines. And you want to make each section just slightly larger than the last section. Okay? And then on this side, all you have to do is line it up with the first set. So as you get closer to what is the top of the building, the rows of windows are the sections are going to get bigger. And you can see that if you look down the hallway here at school, you'll notice that the lockers that are farther apart are much closer together than the lockers that are nearest you. And that's kind of what we're mimicking here. And then what you do is along the bottom, you make yourself some guidelines. And if you need to, use a ruler to make those sections for yourself, if you don't trust yourself to make them evenly spaced, that's fine. So you make yourself some guidelines, and then those guidelines get lined up with the vanishing point, and you draw your line up. So you've always got to be lining your ruler up with that vanishing point. And drawing those lines. Same thing along here. Make sure you're going right up to the edge of the building. Okay, so now that's the easy way to do windows. If you want to make it look like there's actually a wall in between the windows, what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw these kind of, or these lines, but you're gonna draw them very lightly because all they are is guidelines. So you start the same way, but see how much more lightly I'm drawing. And you gotta be careful of doing that. Alright, and then you put your guidelines at the bottom. But notice how I went wide, narrow, wide, narrow, wide, narrow. Actually, I want that a little bit different. So I'm going to give myself space. Right. So So you think about the edge of the windows and then the space in between them. So the wall that would be in between them. And I'm drawing this very lightly because I'm going to end up erasing most of these lines. So I'm barely okay. So then this will be your window. And that will be your window. And then you would erase all the other spots. Okay, and then you go in and you erase all that extra.